Greetings, all you maniacs and rhymes. My name is Manic Rhymes, and today I am going to be showing and also describing this monster that you see right in front of you. So I did a video of me shredding 2 bosses with this build, but honestly, I think it could be better. Okay, so my stats, I'm soul level 205. Remember that. This is a really high level build. Right now, my split leaf greatsword, when one-handed, has an AR of 532, and that is really damn good. So I have 30 vigor, 35 attunement, 32 endurance, 31 vitality, 52 strength, 18 dex, so I can wield most of these weapons, just a minimal dex requirement. 22 intelligence, which is honestly slightly wasted because this is more of a pure faith build, and 63 faith and 11 luck. So, what makes this build extremely strong? It's not these rings, not these two. So what you want to do is you want to first put the Lloyd Swords ring on. It jumps up from 532 to 585. You could use Red Tearstone, but this is more of a safe option. And you get rid of the Ring of Favor, I know. Blasphemy. And then you put on, where is it? The Lightning Clutch Ring. This will boost all your lightning damage. And this is mostly a lightning build. So you put that on. You go Lightning Blade on your Split Leaf. Or any other weapon, it doesn't really matter. Now your AR is 885. Holy crap. So, let me undo the enchantment. Now, I do not have the Yorshka's Chime, but the Saint's Talisman is pretty much the second best option. I think the Yorshka's Chime has slightly better stats, but that's saying something. Over almost 900 AR. That's insane. So I have a lot of weapons here to choose from. So the spiked mace is a good option if you can actually wield it properly. This thing already has 855 damage. That's insane, but it's heavy. And honestly, weapons that you can buff. Look at that. This build is really strong. So let's try with the Dragon Slayer weapons. So 587 with the axe. You buff it. You two-hand it. 865 with an axe. God. Alright. Now, you could also use the magic clutch ring if you're gonna use the oh, thank you. The blade, the moonlight blade. Not this, but the other faith buff. So this has an attack power of 650. This is actually the weapon I used in that short video. Why? Well, 930. That is insane. But your weapon is not honestly your main damage. Your main damage is your Sunlight Spear, which you get from the endgame boss. Now, against Osiris, I did not record it, I should have. I was doing 2,500 damage per shot without the Lightning Clutch ring. Faith is overpowered in this game, and I honestly cannot wait to take on the Twin Princes. I put a lot of messages down apparently. Because they are super weak to lightning, and before I had all this overpowered stuff, my lightning was averaging around 1,000 damage on a boss in NG plus 7. This is NG plus 8. You can start to see why Faith is the route you want to go if you want to shred bosses. Now, I am actually probably going to go to a location and show off the power of this on some poor Lothric Knights. So let's go. Now, before I do this, I have to say that I would not recommend doing PvP with this build because you're probably going to one-shot. I have not tried it. But also, you want to get into your opponent's face. And the Saint's Talisman has a good weapon art. When you use this weapon art, you get poise when you cast miracles. So you can tank through and then just dish out damage. So, how much damage will this do to these nobodies over here? I also have Blessed Weapon just because. I think Blessed Weapon would actually do more damage to these guys because they are undead. Look at that. I don't even have the Hornet Ring on. $1,400 damage. I lost Lloyd's Sword Ring. But yeah, these guys don't have a lot of health. So let's see how much damage the Sunlight Spear does to this guy without hitting him. Oh my god. I'll take that. That's a good sword. Now, when I hit him... Hey. Poise, bitch. 13... Did he block it? What? Okay, I couldn't tell if he blocked it and it still went through with 1,300. If it did, that's insane. The only thing, though, when you get into an opponent's face and they're not a boss, they could, in fact, hit you out of Lloyd's Sword Ring, but it's okay. This guy's going to get... Lothric Knights are tough. You always want to make sure you have Lloyd's Sword Ring active. Now, what are some problems with a Faith build like this? Well, right now I only have 2 Ashen Estus flasks. So that's why you have a lot of strength. So you can wield a heavy weapon. A heavy infused weapon of your choosing. And then buff it with a lightning blade. So just for laughs, let's go over to a weapon that I feel should get more love. The Reinforced Club. Okay. 463 is really good. But when we buff it with lightning blade... 729 with a damn stick. With a beaten stick. How much damage am I going to do to these guys with a Sunlight Spear? One shot. Oh my lord. Keep in mind, this is NG plus 8. I'll take that. So the enemies have insane health. I'm talking crazy health. And I'm doing this to the poor guys. Oh, he made me miss. And see the difference. A B scaling in faith. Give me that. 650. This thing is now on par with a heavy... Yeah, it's exactly the same. But the only thing is, this cannot be buffed anymore. Maybe there's some sort of frame perfect trick in order to buff it. But honestly, it's okay. So, you can start to see why a Faith build is my favorite build in this game. Because you can do crazy damage. The thing about this game is, most, if not all, bosses are fairly weak to lightning, except for Dragon Slayer armor, and there's probably a few others. Well, let's take Aldrich for an example. I didn't even have this ring set up. Without getting in the guy's face, I was doing over 700 damage per lightning strike, per Sunlight Spear. When I got in the face, I was doing over 2,000. Is that allowed? Is that even allowed, that amount of damage? I don't think it is. If you make this build, honestly, this build would actually be kind of funny to invade with. Wait, what's the damage when I do this? That jumps up to 673. Okay, that's cool. I just used the weapon art. I don't know if I'm ever going to evade with this build. I don't know if I'm ever going to do PvP with this build because I feel like that's a little cruel, even though there's other extremely powerful builds. Could you do this build on a soul level 120? I think you could. Your strength wouldn't be as high. You would probably want the minimal strength to wield most good weapons. For the axe, you need a minimal stats of 18 strength and 14 dex. And for this, you need 18 strength and 16 dex. Now, okay, here's a caveat to this build. Or kind of a hiccup, or a flaw. This sword, you get it in Archdragon Peak. And that's a little bit late game unless you're very brave at a low level. I wouldn't do that at a low level. That's suicide. This White-Hander you can get really easily. You buy it from Grey Rat. You can also have a Chaos Flamberge, and it has 613. This would be better with a Fire Clutch Ring. If you're doing a pure Pyro build, you're going to want that. Dark S-Talk is good. Blessed Rapier is okay. I usually mostly use this for criticals. This is really strong, and this is a fairly simple weapon to use. This is absurd. Dragon Slayer Great Axe. When you want to make absolutely sure your opponent is dead and in pieces flying across the walls. So yeah, whatever you want to use is whatever you want to use. This heavy split leaf is pretty fun, but I honestly think that this right here, this axe, is probably one of the better weapons for this build, because it has a beast scaling in faith now with a lightning gem. It all depends on your playstyle, but mostly I would recommend having more than 2 Ashen Estus flasks. The only reason I have more of the healing ones is because, well, I don't have the highest health pool, and I do have good absorption. It's just I tend to get hit a lot. That's why I always have a shield. Yeah, I'm that guy. So, what could you do to make this build even stronger? Honestly, if you get rid of the intelligence and dump all of that into faith and get the hard cap of 66, even though this build is already pretty close to the hard cap. The only reason I have 22 intelligence is so I can use the Chaos Vestige, just in case if I have to go against any enemies that are extremely weak to fire. Oh, I can actually put on even heavier armor now. So yeah, that's why I have a lot of vitality, so I can wear a ton of armor. So yeah, I call this build the Faith Warrior, because it's exactly what it sounds like. You're a warrior. Well, literally, this guy's a warrior. That's the class I picked. This character's rather old. And you're very faithful with your lightning. I know, bad pun. But to get the Sunlight Spear, you do have to beat the final boss. So this is an NG Plus build. You use this on an NG on New Game Plus, you're going to shred bosses. This is a boss shredder. This is one of those builds that is designed to shred bosses. Now, you could sacrifice some strength. You could also make this a dex faith, but you'll miss out on the axe. And honestly, I think axes are really good. Straight swords are just such cancer. But if you have a... Oh my lord, I just thought of something. Sellsword Twin Blades on this kind of build. Oh my god. I might have to try that. Nah, I'm not a dex fag, I'm a faith fag. Faith for life, baby. Anyway, I hope you found this build video kind of interesting in the demonstration that I had. I know it was kind of a long video, kind of rambly. But I just wanted to share my favorite build. This is my favorite build. I have a dex build. It's pretty fun. I have a pure strength build. Pretty fun. But this right here is how you destroy this game. Anyway, you could go full dragon form as well and use the buff, and you'd probably have an AR of over 1,000 with all this stacked. But honestly, having more armor is better because you're not just going to be casting Faith. You're also going to be in the enemy's face and just hacking them to shreds. So, is this the most overpowered build in the game? I would honestly say it's up there. It's up there with mages and pure dex builds. I would honestly have to say if I went against someone of my skill level, because I'm not actually very good on PvP. Ooh, I know. I don't invade very often or do PvP. I actually can't with this character. I didn't beat that boss yet in the DLC. Because I don't really care. But if you put this build against, say, a pure intelligence build, I think this build will win. I honestly think this build will win. I know there's really strong magic builds with dark magic and all that stuff. But the amount of damage that you do with one sunlight spear. And keep in mind, most players, an average player, will probably only have a health pool of around 1,000. This is a one-shot. This, they're dead. If that hits. So, anyway, I think eventually I might do a montage of me shredding bosses with this build. I'm just going to have to beat the game again. And then be on NG plus 9. Oh boy. But that'll be a good test. I'll show off every single boss that I'm willing to fight. I'm not going to take on the Nameless King because this build does not do well against him because he's resistant to lightning. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment. And remember, in Trilby, we trust.